This is Stephen Newmaster, a professor who lied to science, to industries, to the world, and still remains as a professor at the University of Guelph. His story begins with an amazing study that, if true, would have been revolutionary. What was this paper about? So, paper was about DNA barcoding, and if this paper was true, it would have been revolutionary for the world. The paper proposed that we could use DNA barcoding technology to find the plants that were genuinely used in natural health products. This means we could find what was in all these products, let's say health products from natural berries, and this means we could find if companies were telling the truth or not, and the implications of this were crazy. We can find the DNA ID of what the product was actually made of. We could find contaminants. We could test companies. We could make a company about this technology to control the natural health product industry. If we combine each of these three implications, then we are advancing humanity with our science because we have better products. We have advanced genomics from this technology and this paper, and there would be less lying in general, and these were all really good things, but it was all fake. It sounded too good to be true. Yeah, it sounded really good. I wonder what happened. Well, what happened was this fellow, Ken Thompson, he thought the same thing for years about this paper. He thought it was too good to be true, but he never did anything about it until he heard about Jonathan Pruitt's case. Thompson then did a sort of peer review, a post-publication peer review. Even though the scientific tree can be corrupted, this tree has self-checking measures to cut off the bad branches. So Thompson clearly went backwards in the scientific process and wanted to look at the DNA data, but none was there, which caused Newmaster to upload data to GeneBank retroactively almost a full decade after the paper was published, and this caused more suspicion. It's worth mentioning Thompson was really confused by this because Newmaster's actions mess up the scientific process. Usually your data is sent with the paper you're publishing, not 7 to 8 years after. Upon further analysis, this DNA data that Newmaster recently uploaded was completely similar to 2 cannabis studies. This got Ken Thompson thinking about scientific misconduct, data fabrication, data falsification, plagiarism, and he brought in other people as well, such as Paul Hubert, who was the father of the DNA technology that Newmaster supposedly used. And bringing in all these other people, Ken Thompson was able to file a report to University of Guelph. By the end of this investigation, it was clear that Newmaster had committed scientific misconduct, but what exactly? Well, he was filed and claimed to have committed data fabrication and falsification because Newmaster took data from other places, changed the values a bit, and then published. Instead of using the DNA barcoding facility at the University of Guelph, he used someone else's DNA data and said it's his just to publish. In other words, for the people on the back not paying attention, here's a meme for it. Using a DNA barcoding facility at your university to gather groundbreaking data, or stealing DNA data from other papers to publish a groundbreaking paper. Obviously, Newmaster chose the second one. In terms of the scientific process, if we start at the beginning, it's not even sure if Newmaster made a hypothesis because his paper has no mention to one. After that, he did generate an experiment as is outlined in his paper. We're not even sure if he conducted his fancy double-blind study to test products on. And speaking of testing products, it's not even certain if he collected his own data. He did collect other people's data, and he did generate figures, but it's uncertain if any of this is valid or real, which means this data was either fabricated, falsified, and specifically plagiarized from other people. And after this, his analysis and discussion and writing the paper, he was able to publish it. It seems that the only step Newmaster was able to follow the scientific process was publishing, as every other step was either falsified, fabricated, or plagiarized in some form or fashion. And this was only really made clear because he uploaded his data 7 to 8 years after he published his paper, and the data he uploaded was actually plagiarized from another paper. So you would think that the university would be appalled and kick him out, because under their policies, the University of Guelph clearly outlines that fabrication and falsification would not be tolerated. Yet even though this happened and their guidelines say it is a misconduct, they don't recognize it as one and still think there's no issue because according to them there's insufficient evidence. At least NSERC has no official funding statements for it. Newmaster passed the late 2010s, which is when he was caught for this cheating, and as per their research policies, what Newmaster did was considered scientific misconduct and a breach in scientific integrity. But there's one more thing to say about this case, which borders on scientific misconduct, and that is the creation of a company known as TrueID from this paper. Although there's nothing wrong with using science to make money, there is something wrong about using fake data to make a company to influence the world, especially when the company makes millions for Newmaster and the University of Guelph and affects health. Since his paper was about finding contaminants and regulating health products, TrueID, the company he made, did exactly that. Although this company has gone bankrupt and no longer exists, we can use the Wayback Machine to see what the company's website used to look like, and we can see it had official logos, brand partners, awards, news, and look, research awards and money from NSERC. We have the National Health Product Research Alliance. Guess who owns that? If you guessed Newmaster, you would be correct yet again. Now again, there's nothing wrong with doing this. It's the fact he committed data fabrication, falsification, plagiarism to achieve his goals in creating a company and publishing a paper.